there, thanks so much for joining us. I'm Courtney Friel from KTLA. It is my honor and pleasure to virtually welcome law enforcement officers, prosecutors, officials, and esteemed guests to the annual MADD Law Enforcement and Prosecutor Recognition Virtual Awards. This event is designed to recognize the outstanding work of law enforcement professionals in DUI enforcement and prosecutors who work hard to hold these offenders accountable for their actions. Each arrest is a potential life saved, and MADD awards their service as they dedicate their lives to keeping our roads safer. For over 40 years, Mothers Against Drunk Driving has been the nation's leader in an unwavering fight against this 100% preventable crime by changing the apathetic culture surrounding drinking and driving. Since 1980, highway deaths caused by drunk driving crashes have been cut in half. Consequently, this success has created a misconception that drunk driving is no longer a major issue. However, this is not the case. Drunk driving crashes remain a major cause of death and injuries on America's highways, with over 10,000 fatalities and 290,000 injuries annually, all of which are preventable. Here in California, there are just under 1,000 DUI-related deaths annually. Drunk and drug driving comes with a cost, and it is one that robs us of mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, spouses, and friends. With the help of those who want a safer future, in 2006, MADD launched its campaign to eliminate drunk driving to end this danger on American roads. The campaign to eliminate drunk driving will get this nation to 0 deaths through equal parts prevention and invention. Unfortunately, throughout this difficult last year, fatal drunk driving crashes have spiked across the United States, leaving many lives altered forever. MADD continues to provide free services to victims and families of drunk and drugged driving and educational programs to discourage underage drinking. Programs and services are even being offered virtually to maintain and increase awareness and prevention. But MADD cannot do this without the help and support of people like you. And that's why we've created the $5 Challenge. The $5 Challenge is a giving campaign designed to raise additional funds to help victims of DUI crashes. Please join us in the $5 Challenge and the One MADD California Giving Campaign. Funds raised through the One MADD California will go toward the organization's victim services and research-based programs to continue their goal of no more victims. Statewide supporters can donate via phone or online. MADD's mission and focus to create a world of no more victims has not wavered over the years and remains the same today. These tragic deaths and injuries continue to drive our efforts to end drunk driving, help fight drug driving, support the victims of these violent crimes, and prevent underage drinking. I'd like to congratulate all of the honorees: law enforcement officers with impressive DUI arrests, diligent prosecutors who work hard for victims and victim rights, and our strong, passionate volunteers. MADD could not accomplish what we do without your help, so we appreciate all law enforcement, prosecutors, and the community as they are natural partners with us in this effort. At this time, we would like to present comments from the MADD National President, Mrs. Alex Otte.
Hi. My name is Alex Otte, and I'm the National President of Mothers Against Drunk Driving. It's an honor to congratulate you on this recognition and to say thank you for the work that you do to keep our roads safe from drunk drivers. Some people say that they generally understand the contributions law enforcement make to our communities. Others still will say that while they may not understand, they appreciate the work that you do to keep them and their families safe. I want to tell you that not only do I understand and appreciate it, I'm married to it. My husband, Zach, is a special victims detective in our home of Lexington, Kentucky. In fact, my 2 giant dogs are named Sheriff and Sergeant. I say this to tell you from the very beginning that when I say thank you and that I understand the work that you do, you know that I live alongside of it every single day. I came to MADD for the same reason many people do. I was run over by a drunk driver when I was 13. On July 2nd, 2010, I was sitting still on a jet ski behind my dad's house on Lake Harrington. There was a 17-foot bass boat coming under a nearby bridge, and I did what I always knew to do. I gave my mom a thumbs up to let her know I saw him coming and I wasn't going to move. The boat was headed towards my mom and my brother. He banked it to the left and never straightened up. The boat hit me from the side going over 60 miles per hour, threw me off the jet ski, went up over the jet ski. I landed face down in the water and the boat came down on top of my body. I sustained, among many other injuries, a severe traumatic brain injury classified as shaken baby syndrome, a broken neck, and the loss of my right leg. The man who ran me over had multiple prior DUI offenses. 2.5 hours after the crash, he was 3 times over legal limit. I knew soon after the crash that I wanted to be the last little girl that this ever happened to. 11 years later, I know that I wasn't. I also know that because of law enforcement efforts to get drunk drivers off of our roads and waterways, more little girls make it home. As I said before, I married into law enforcement life. I understand what it is that you do and the sacrifices that you and your families make. I also know the frustration of diligently doing your job when the laws don't always treat drunk driving like the dangerous and deadly crime that it is. I appreciate how hard it is for law enforcement to continue to take people off the water and the roads, only to see them go out and do it again. Even when it's frustrating, please know that every single moment a drunk driver spends off of our roads and off of our waterways was a moment that might have saved someone's life. Many of you see victims of drunk driving on the absolute worst days of their lives, and you don't get to see what happens after. I'm what happens after. I'm the kid you saved because you took a drunk driver off the road or off the water. Maybe you can't imagine the lives that people will lead because you were there, but I can. I hope that by hearing my story, you have the same perspective that my husband has. There's a reason we have to get drunk drivers off the roads, and it's not just because it's our job. Congratulations again on your much-deserved recognition, and thank you so much for having me.
A welcome now from California State Executive Director Patricia Riera.
Greetings and welcome to our 2021 Virtual Law Enforcement Recognition event. We are so happy you could join us. My name is Patricia Riera. I am the California State Executive Director for Mothers Against Drunk Driving. MADD California wishes to take this time to acknowledge distinguished individuals who change lives one day at a time. Your experiences, expertise, and dedication are invaluable resources to our business model. Therefore, it is MADD California's honor to host and recognize you today. Please accept this recognition as a small token of our appreciation for the risk you take daily to keep our roads safe from impaired drivers, and for the laws you enforce on behalf of victims as prosecutors. You are truly an essential and valuable part of the MADD family. Last year, 2020, was a very difficult year for MADD California, as I'm sure it was for most. We bravely dealt with the COVID-19 pandemic, and then we were saddened when millions of people around the country took to the streets protesting police violence and racial inequality after the death of George Floyd. The alleged accusations of racial disparities by some law enforcement disturbed us most because we know how closely MADD California works with law enforcement on a daily basis. We are always alarmed when we hear allegations of officers acting outside the policies set by agencies we work with. MADD does not condone the use of unnecessary force in any situation and counts on leadership within our partner agencies to handle these situations fairly and justly. However, despite the challenges presented in 2020, MADD staff and volunteers delivered MADD's core programs and services virtually throughout California, all of which are free of charge to the public. These volunteer-based programs include, but are not limited to, victim advocacy, underage drinking prevention programs, community engagement, and the campaign to eliminate drunk and drugged driving. At its core, MADD provides services to victims and families of drunk and drug driving crashes at no cost. Successfully lobbied to support stronger drunk driving laws, deliver underage drinking prevention strategies to thousands of teens, and we are single-handedly responsible for changing the apathetic culture surrounding drinking and driving. Impaired driving continues to be a leading cause of deaths and injuries in our country. We applaud you today and throughout the year for your dedication to making our roadways safer. To all the MADD California honorees, congratulations, and thank you for all you do for MADD.
Next, opening remarks from GEORGINA AVILEZ, Senior Program Manager for MADD Southern California.
Thank you for joining MADD's 2021 Law Enforcement and Prosecutor Recognition Virtual Awards. My name is GEORGINA AVILEZ, Senior Program Manager for MADD Southern California. Today we are here to honor heroes, hardworking men and women of law enforcement and prosecutors who work diligently to remove drunk and drug drivers from our roadways. Despite the recent pandemic, we at MADD want to make sure we thank you, and it's our pleasure to honor you. This past year, fatal crashes involving alcohol were up 9% compared to 2019, even as vehicle miles traveled fell by 13%. This is according to preliminary estimates of crash fatalities involving all road users released by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Without the vital work you do, these numbers would be much more devastating. Law enforcement represents the first prong of our campaign to end drunk driving, the high visibility of law enforcement. The number of arrests reported in 2020 from Los Angeles, Orange, San Bernardino, Riverside, and the Tri-Counties area were a combined total of 22,189. So once again, thank you for all your efforts to keep our roadways safe. Sadly, drunk and drug driving continues to be a leading cause of death and injuries on our nation's roadways. MADD will not stop until drunk driving does, because that one empty seat at the table is just one too many. With your help, we will arrive at our destination of 0 deaths and injuries. Together, we will see our dream come true of no more victims. If you or someone you know has been impacted by a drunk or drug driver, contact MADD's 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MADD-HELP. At this time, I would like to thank officers and deputies from the following police departments in the local city of Downey, Los Angeles, Rialto, Oxnard, San Bernardino, Palm Springs, Port Hueneme, Ventura, the California Highway Patrol, and the Sheriff's Department out of the County of Los Angeles, Orange, Riverside, San Bernardino, and Ventura. These departments, along with our local DAs and prosecutors, are actively volunteering at MADD victim impact panels as guest speakers, along with collaborating with MADD's underage drinking prevention workshops and MADD's signature event, Walk Like MADD, in their local community. I would like to take a moment to thank MADD Southern California sponsors, Uber, Association for Los Angeles Deputy Sheriffs, and the Automobile Club of Southern California. On behalf of MADD, congratulations to all the honorees. We could not accomplish what we do without law enforcement and the prosecutors who try these cases. Your efforts validate that you care about our vision to eliminate drunk and drug driving crashes. It is our honor to acknowledge your efforts in saving lives, and we are looking forward to seeing you at next year's event. Thank you.
Next up, Dan Dow, District Attorney with the County of San Luis Obispo office, would like to share a few words.
Hi, I'm Dan Dow, District Attorney for San Luis Obispo County. I want to start by saying thank you to MADD Southern California for your hard work and unwavering commitment to providing education to our communities, and as well recognition for our law enforcement officers for the great work that they're doing to protect lives in our community. So if you're here to support MADD today, I'd encourage you to please get out your checkbooks, be generous, because they need your support to keep doing the good work that they are doing to support us in law enforcement, which protects you. To our law enforcement partners, especially here in San Luis Obispo County, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for the hard work that you're doing, the selfless service and sacrifice that you do every day to make sure that our communities are safe. I want to especially pay tribute to San Luis Obispo Police Detective Luca Benedetti. Detective Benedetti has been recognized by MADD Southern California numerous times in previous years because of his outstanding service and investigating driving under the influence cases. Tragically, Luca lost his life while serving and protecting our community just a few short days ago. While we're still grieving here in our community, I know that the spirit of Detective Benedetti that wants to protect our community, that spirit lives on within the hearts of each and every one of our local law enforcement officers. They're going to continue the mission that Detective Benedetti was so committed to. So in memory of him, I would ask everybody listening to please support MADD Southern California. We need to keep this effort going so that each one of us can live in a safe community. I'm Dan Dow, District Attorney for San Luis Obispo County, and I stand with One MADD California to end impaired driving.
At this time, I'd like to introduce Joyce Dudley, District Attorney with the County of Santa Barbara.
My name is Joyce Dudley. I'm the District Attorney of Santa Barbara County. And as such, I would like to thank MADD for giving me this opportunity to express my deep appreciation to the law enforcement officers of Santa Barbara County who investigated driving under the influence of alcohol or drug cases during 2020. 2020 was an impossibly difficult year for so many reasons. But today, let's keep in mind those who were injured and the loved ones of those who were killed by people who chose to drive under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Amongst those people were pedestrians just walking down the sidewalk, cyclists going out for a Sunday run with their friends. The deep sadness and grief that these injuries have caused is insurmountable. And so we appreciate so much the time and the thoroughness those law enforcement officers put into those investigations. I would also like to thank MADD because throughout the years, MADD has done a terrific job in terms of advocacy so our communities understand just how devastating it is to experience the loss or an injury as a result of driving under the influence. MADD has consistently made our communities more aware of this horrific crime, has supported law enforcement in their investigation, and has supported prosecutors in their prosecution. And so we stand with MADD of California to end impaired driving. Thank you.
Next up, we have ERIK NASARENKO, District Attorney with the County of Ventura.
Hi, I'm ERIK NASARENKO, the Ventura County District Attorney. I am proud to honor and recognize the deputies, officers, and prosecutors who help keep our roads safe as part of MADD California's Law Enforcement Awards ceremony. So many of our officers and our deputies are out in the streets, highways, and freeways every day, helping to end impaired driving, whether administering field sobriety tests or stopping impaired motorists at DUI checkpoints. The men and women of law enforcement continue to keep our streets and highways safe. However, there is more work that needs to be done. Even though the pandemic saw fewer motorists on the road, we continued to see an alarming number of driving under the influence cases submitted to our office. Let's continue to work together to end impaired driving. And let's remember, we stand as One MADD California to end all impaired driving.
Please welcome Sheriff Bill AYUB with the Ventura County Sheriff's Department.
I'm Bill AYUB, Sheriff of Ventura County. Preservation and protection of human life is the top priority of peace officers everywhere. In fact, our core mission as peace officers is to make our communities as safe a place as possible for all those who live in and visit them. Each year in this country, thousands of lives are needlessly lost to drunk and drug driving. In just this past year alone, more than 10,000 lives were taken in traffic collisions involving drunk and/or drug drivers, including many right here in Ventura County. Our deputies keep a watchful eye for drunk drivers, and despite all the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic, they arrested more than 700 drunk drivers over the past year. The worst part is that it's completely preventable and inexcusable, especially when considering the ease of designating a sober driver obtaining a rideshare or taxi, or phoning a friend or loved one. These are just some of the reasons that I've been a career-long advocate for preventative measures and aggressive enforcement of drunk and drug driving laws. While a lot of progress has been made in battling drunk and drug driving over the years, there's still much work to be done. And it's going to get done through key partnerships like we have with Mothers Against Drunk Driving. For more than 40 years, MADD has been making great strides in reducing the incidence of drunk and drug driving in Ventura County and throughout our country. Their comprehensive approach of education, advocacy, legislative activism, victim support, and backing of law enforcement's efforts to curb drunk driving has driven MADD's success in saving lives. But they can't do it alone. MADD's approach to ending the plague of drunk and drug driving is the right one, and I'm thankful for their recognition of the dedicated deputies and officers everywhere who are making a difference. I'm a strong, longtime supporter of MADD, and I encourage you to join me in supporting their One MADD California campaign to end drunk and drug driving in our communities.
Thank you so much to all our city officials. We are honored to have your county stand with MADD. Now we will tell you a story that MADD knows all too well. We begin with our mission moment and the reason why MADD was founded and exists today, to honor and serve victims and survivors. Introducing TRENNER Marchetti as the honorary victim speaker.
Hello, my name is TRENNER Marchetti. I'm currently a sergeant with the Ventura Police Department, but I'm not speaking to you as a fellow law enforcement officer. I'm speaking to you as a survivor of a DUI crash. Almost 31 years ago, on May 22nd, 1990, I was riding in the car with my siblings and my mother. We were driving to our little house in San Leandro when a DUI driver went through a red light on the wrong side of the road. This was not his first offense. He was a repeat DUI offender. When he struck our car, my mother was killed instantly. My siblings and I all received various levels of injuries to which we had hospital stays. The responding San Leandro police officers were former coworkers and friends of my mother. She was a former San Leandro police officer. My father was an active duty San Leandro police officer at the time. Now, having been in law enforcement for about 17 years, I can only imagine what it was like to roll up onto that scene and realize that this was a former coworker, colleague, or friend who was lying dead in the roadway next to her children. That person's decision to drive drunk once again left a long-lasting mark on our family and took away a young mother. I want to thank you for all of your efforts. You guys are going out there and you're educating the public. You're making preventative efforts and you're enforcing DUI laws, suspended license violations, and violations of operating without a court-ordered ignition interlock device. And I want you to know, everything you're doing is making the streets of California safer for all of us. I want to thank you for everything you're doing, and I want you guys to be safe. Thank you.
Thank you, TRENNER, for sharing your family's tragic story. As we transition to our next presenters, please note, by donating to #OneMaddCalifornia, you can help MADD create a future with no more victims. Currently, critical funds are needed to continue MADD California's underage drinking prevention programs and victim services. Statewide supporters can participate in the $5 challenge and donate via phone or online. At this time, we will begin our awards ceremony. For many victims of DUI crashes, their experience in court is oftentimes their first encounter with the criminal justice system. The fear of the unknown, combined with the reality of their loss and devastation, can be overwhelming. However, there is a team dedicated in bringing justice to many DUI cases, and it is my pleasure to announce this year's Prosecutor of the Year award. San Luis Obispo, the honor goes to ERIK J. DOBROTH, Assistant District Attorney, and Benji Blumenthal, Deputy District Attorney. For Santa Barbara County, the honor goes to Stephanie SCHOENBURG, Senior Deputy District Attorney, and Stephen WAGNER, Deputy District Attorney. For Ventura County, the honor goes to Deputy District Attorney Justice SPILLNER. A round of virtual applause for this year's Prosecutor of the Year recipients. For officers whose official responsibilities include so much more than DUI enforcement, arresting dangerous drivers with such consistency is remarkable, and diligent prosecutors who work hard for victims and victim rights. For our first awards, we have the DUCE awardees with up to 49 DUI arrests. A round of virtual applause for all our DUCE awardees here shown on the screen. Up next, we have the MADD Awards allotted to those law enforcement officers with 50 to 99 DUI arrests. A round of virtual applause for our MADD awardees shown on the screen. We will now award the top arresting officers from each department. A round of virtual applause for our top arresting officers from each department here shown on the screen.
Atascadero PD, Officer Craig Martineau, 31 arrests. California State Parks, Oceano Dunes, Officer Brian Hansen, 30 arrests. Cal Poly PD, Officer Chad Riley, 2 arrests. CHP, Bolton, Officer Toby Hall, 25 arrests. Moore Park, Officer Kyle Sweet, 23 arrests. San Luis Obispo, Officer Ferdencio Rueda, 36 arrests. Santa Maria, Officer Jason Trauber, 39 arrests. Ventura, Officer Zachary Zambrana, 67 arrests. Templeton, Officer Eutimio Toral, 55 arrests. Grover Beach PD, Officer Jared Allegranza, 11 arrests. Guadalupe PD, Officer Christopher Orozco, 9 arrests. Lompoc PD, Officer Timothy Chiang, 11 arrests. Morro Bay PD, Officer Billy Bauer, 21 arrests. Oxnard PD, Officer Adam Aguilar, 33 arrests. Paso Robles PD, Officer Brendan Neary, 38 arrests. Pismo Beach PD, Officer Chris Siglin, 28 arrests. Port Hueneme PD, Officer Henry Montalongo, 9 arrests. San Luis Obispo PD, Officer Matthew Sanchez, 15 arrests. Santa Barbara Sheriff's Department, Deputy John Valenti, 54 arrests. Santa Barbara PD, Officer Robert Parmalee, 64 arrests. Santa Maria PD, Officer Calvin Chin, 52 arrests. Simi Valley PD, Officer Kevin Van Fleet, 32 arrests. UC Santa Barbara PD, Sergeant Daniel Wilson, 2 arrests. Ventura County Sheriff's Office, Camarillo, Deputy Christopher Riggs, 29 arrests. Fillmore, Deputy Robert Thomas, 19 arrests. Headquarters, Deputy Anthony Goldner, 7 arrests. Moore Park, Deputy Dan James, 32 arrests. Ojai, Deputy Christian LaSecla and Deputy Samuel Moss, 8 arrests. Thousand Oaks, Deputy Justin Doring, 18 arrests. Ventura PD, Officer Mariano Robles and Officer Taylor Beecham, 13 arrests.
It is now time to honor the top arresting officer from each area in the Tri-Counties. Please join me in virtually applauding and viewing comments from our top arresting officers. For San Luis Obispo with 55 arrests, Officer Eutimio Toral with the California Highway Patrol Templeton Station. With 64 arrests, Officer Robert Parmalee with the Santa Barbara Police Department. And with the highest DUI arrests in the Tri-Counties, Santa Barbara area Officer Zachary Zambrano with the California Highway Patrol Ventura Station, who has 67 arrests. A round of virtual applause for our top arresting officers from each department here shown on the screen.
Good afternoon. I am Officer Terrell with the California Highway Patrol Templeton Area Office. I am honored and grateful to be receiving this acknowledgement today for the DUI arrest that I made in 2020. I'd like to thank MADD for organizing this event. I'd also like to congratulate all the officers today being recognized for their hard work in 2020. I'd like to specifically congratulate two of my fellow partners from the Templeton area office, Officer Villers and Officer Lamar, who I know work hard every day they go out on patrol. Personally, myself, I began to focus on DUIs after I completed 2 training phases on graveyards, which mainly focuses on DUI enforcement. In my opinion, there's no one specific way to improve DUI enforcement as long as us as law enforcement continue to have the mindset that every enforcement stop is a DUI investigation.
Congratulations to all the honorees. And we have one special thank you from MADD California victims and volunteers.
Thank you, law enforcement, for all of your hard work and dedication to eliminating drunk driving. For victims like myself, I appreciate all of your hard work and keep the world a safer place.
Hi, my name is Lily, founder of Street Racing Kills. I just want to thank today all the officers and district attorneys for making it a better world, and better, safer for everyone. Thank you so much for all you do as advocates for safe streets and as volunteers as well, and just regular people, Angelinos here, walking on our streets, driving every day. You really are making a difference. So again, thank you, officers and district attorneys, for making our world a better place to live in.
For the last decade, I have tried to do my part as a MADD victim impact speaker. I am so grateful to law enforcement for doing more than their part, patrolling roadways at their own peril to keep us safe from drunk drivers. Thank you.
We'd like to say a great big thank you to law enforcement and to the prosecutors for helping keeping our highways and roads safe. Thank you.
In memory of Chunky and Sonia, we would like to thank you all for your continued dedication to help keep impaired drivers off the road.
Enforcement, today is your day. Although I know and I recognize that one day is not enough to thank you all for your hard work and dedication that you provide on the front lines, I want you to know that we recognize that behind that badge is a person with a huge heart. For me, the moment that I lived may have ruined my past, still lives in my present, but I refuse to let it touch our future. This land is my land, this land is your land, and I thank you and honor each and every one of you for risking your lives, especially throughout these challenging times. With that being said, congratulations to you all, and I hope we can meet again. Bye.
We created a social movement of One MADD California. It's a tribute to MADD's success in the traffic safety arena and the grassroots organization that started the cultural revolution that made drunk driving unacceptable. We ask communities to stand with MADD for #NoMoreVictims. This is a necessary opportunity to raise precious funds for the victim and community services MADD provides. As mentioned, these services are victim advocacy for victims and survivors of drunk and drugged driving crashes, underage drinking prevention education for parents and teens, and working with law enforcement and/or legislators to eliminate impaired driving. MADD California staff and volunteers travel all over the Southern California region delivering these valuable services, all of which are free of charge to the public. Statewide supporters can support One MADD California via phone or online. Additionally, your program books are digitally available on the site, and the event will continuously be available through this site at MADD California on the Facebook and YouTube pages for your family and friends to view. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.